Every year after the Super Bowl, it happens. A player wins the biggest game in American sports. A microphone appears in front of their face, and they shout the same sentence the whole country expects. I'm going to Disney World! It's one of the most recognizable victory traditions in sports. But here's the strange part. That famous phrase wasn't born out of sports. It wasn't tradition. It wasn't organic. It wasn't even spontaneous. It was a $75,000 marketing gamble. And it almost never happened. Tonight, today, right now, on Best Moment Ever, we're going to go back to the exact moment it all started when a quarterback by the name of Phil Simms unknowingly launched one of the most successful advertising traditions in sports history. Welcome back, everybody. This is Best Moment Ever. Is this the best moment ever? You're probably thinking, what is this? Well, I just take random moments in history, from sports to music to, wars to we landed on the moon to the fall of the Berlin Wall. We're going to go through all of the moments. Well, probably not all of them, because there's a lot of moments in life and I only got so many days. But we're going to go through a lot of the moments, random moments. We're jumping all over. And if there's a moment that you want me to do, let me know in the comments right now, and we will do the best moment ever. And then what we do at the end of the episode, we rank it, and then we put it to the best moment ever leaderboard, and we see where it ranks. Could this moment with Phil Simms be the best moment that has ever happened of any moment? Is it bigger than the miracle on ice? Is it bigger than us landing on the moon? Is it bigger than the collapse or the fall of the Berlin Wall? There's only one way to find out. Let's get into it. It's January 25th, 1987. Super Bowl XXI. The New York Giants versus the Denver Broncos. At the time, the Giants were a physical defensive powerhouse coached by the legendary Bill Parcells. Their defense was led by one of the most terrifying players the NFL had ever seen, L.T. Lawrence Taylor. Across the field stood Denver quarterback John Elway, already one of the most exciting young stars in football. On paper, the game was expected to be competitive. Something historic happened that night. Giants quarterback Phil Simms played one of the greatest Super Bowl games ever recorded. He completed 22 of 25 passes. That's an 88% completion rate, which at the time set a Super Bowl record. He threw 3 touchdown passes, finished with a quarterback rating of 150.9, and led the Giants to a decisive 39-20 victory. It was a performance so efficient that even today it still ranks among the greatest Super Bowl performances of all time. Yes, even better than Bad Bunny. Yes, even better than Justin Timberlake. And, well, The Incident. Maybe that should be one of the best moments ever, you little Super Bowl lovers. Anyways, Simms ended up being the Super Bowl MVP, but the most famous part of his night hadn't even happened yet. Months before that Super Bowl, inside the marketing offices of Disney, an unusual idea had been flown around. Disney was searching for a new way to promote its theme parks. Something tied to a celebration. Something tied to a victory. Something big enough to capture national attention. And someone suggested something strange. What if the Super Bowl MVP looked directly into the camera and said that they were going to go to Disney World? At first, even people inside Disney thought the idea sounded ridiculous. But the company said, why not? Let's go ahead and try it. They offered the NFL a simple proposal. Right after the Super Bowl, the MVP would deliver one line: I'm going to Disney World. Disney would then run the commercial nationally the very next day. To make it happen, Disney paid $75,000. In 1987, that was a significant amount of money for what was essentially a single sentence. But there was one big problem. They had no idea who would win the Super Bowl. So Disney came up with a clever solution. They filmed 2 commercials ahead of time. One with Phil Simms, one with John Elway. Whichever quarterback won the game would become the commercial. The Giants win. Phil Simms is named Super Bowl MVP. Shortly after the game, a camera crew approaches him, and they ask a question that sounds completely normal. Phil, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next? Simms smiles and delivers the line: I'm going to Disney World. The commercial airs the very next night, and something unexpected happens. People love it. The line captures something simple but powerful: victory, joy. The idea that after accomplishing something so incredible, you celebrate in the happiest place on earth, which that's debatable. What Disney didn't realize at the time was they had just created something much bigger than football. They created a tradition. The following year, Disney did it again. Another Super Bowl, another MVP, another athlete shouting the same famous line. Slowly, something fascinating began to happen. The phrase started becoming part of sports culture. Fans began expecting it. Broadcasters began referencing it. Athletes began enjoying it. And over time, the tradition expanded beyond football. Champions from across the sports world began participating. Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Tiger Woods, Serena Williams, Olympic champs, World Series winners, NBA Finals MVPs, and every time it happened, the phrase echoed again. I'm going to Disney World. The athlete would then appear at a Disney park the very next day, riding through crowds of cheering fans. The commercial campaign had turned into something much bigger than advertising. It had become a symbol of victory. Since that first commercial in 1987, the campaign has continued for 4 decades. That's like 40 years. Hundreds of athletes have delivered the line. The phrase has been repeated after some of the biggest championship moments in sports history. Disney's marketing gamble turned into one of the most successful brand partnerships in sports. The campaign generated billions of dollars in promotional value for Disney parks around the world, all from a single line. 7 simple words. I'm going to Disney World. That's 5 words. My bad. Now it's time to place the moment on the best moment ever leaderboard. And remember, the board compares moments across all of human history, not just sports, not just entertainment, everything. So let's break it down. Impact is the first one up. This moment didn't change politics, science, or global history, but it did reshape sports marketing and helped create one of the most recognizable victory traditions in modern sports. For me, 6.1 out of 10. Emotional hit. It's joyful, it's celebratory, but it doesn't carry the emotional weight of historic tragedies, revolutions, or even world-changing events. So for me, 6.2 out of 10. Cultural memory. The phrase is extremely recognizable. Even people who don't watch sports, they've heard of it, but many don't know where it actually came from. Let's be honest, how many people listening right now actually knew where this came from? Be honest. Let me know if you did. So for me, 6.8 out of 10. Longevity, nearly 40 years, the tradition's still happening. Few marketing campaigns have lasted this long. So I'm going to go with a 6.9 out of 10. Disruption, the moment it helped change how brands connect with athletes and championship moments. It proved that a single phrase tied to victory could become a cultural ritual. So for me, 6.9 out of 10. So if my math is math, then that gives it a 32.9 out of 50. And this is where he ranks amongst all the other best moment evers that we have done here at Best Moment Ever. All right, and we did have a couple on the founding board, so if you're wondering why there's a couple extra, go rewatch the first episode or second, and it'll all make sense. But that score places the birth of I'm Going to Disney World as a major pop culture moment, but not quite one of the events that reshaped the course of human history. Still, for a tradition that started with a $75,000 advertising idea and turned it into a phrase repeated by champions for nearly 4 decades, it's not a bad legacy. All because one quarterback looked into a camera after the biggest game of his life and unknowingly started a tradition that would echo through sports history. I'm going to Disney World. That's all we got. We'll be back next week for another episode of Best Moment Ever. Can't thank you enough. Take care, everybody.
This is the best moment ever.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. 5 throws. Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep left. It is. It is.
Just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber, you go and do something like this. And totally redeem yourself!
This is the best moment ever.